You alright?
Not sure.
Yes, but according to legend, the Black Book that the Americans found at Adamaptra is supposed to bring people back from the dead. Until now, it was a notion I was unwilling to believe.
Believe it, sister. That's what brought our buddy back to life.
Yes, and I'm thinking that if the Black Book can bring dead people to life, then...
Maybe the Gold Book can kill him.
That's the myth. I just have to find out where the Gold Book is hidden.
Last but not least, my favourite plague. Boils and swords.
They have become his slaves. So it has begun. The beginning of the end.
Not quite yet, it hasn't. Come on. According to Bembridge scholars, the Golden Book of Amon-Ra is located inside the statue of Anubis.
That's where we found the Black Book.
Exactly.
That looks like the old boys at Bembridge were mistaken.
Yes, they mixed the books up, mixed up where they were buried. So if the Black Book is inside the statue of Anubis, then the Golden Book must be inside...
Faster.
Patience is a virtue.
Not right now, it isn't.
I think I can get the car started.
I got it. The Golden Book of Amon-Ra is at Hamunaptra inside the statue of Horus. Take that, Bembridge scholars.
What's going on, ladies and gents in Cyberland? Coming back to you with another film review. And this time we're on to action, horror type, fantasy type film, I guess you could say. Yeah. The Mummy. Now, let's make sure we're talking about 1999 The Mummy, not the one with Tom Cruise that came out like a couple years ago of current time. So this film stars Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, John Hannah, and a bunch of other people. So when I first saw this film, I was at my grandparents'. I remember watching it. My grandfather had it in a collection of a bunch of films. And I was watching, I think, in the summertime. I think it was. Probably the summertime or the fall. But I remember it took me a couple times to watch the film. I just wasn't, I just wasn't that amused by it. The film to me just came off like a little boring, And looking back on it now, retrospect, I don't think my issue with it was the Mummy never, when you think of the collection of Universal's monsters, I always felt the Mummy was weak. I always felt he was a weak villain because it was just I was just never impressed with the Mummy. You had Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, Lady Dracula, Lady Frankenstein, the creature from the Black Lagoon, the Invisible Man. But I don't know, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing. But the Mummy to me just kind of felt... I just was never impressed, I guess you could say. He was just never terrifying to me. I always wondered what was his purpose, And the film follows Brendan Fraser's character, who's kind of like a explorer, but more of a mercenary. He kind of gives me he's more of a mercenary vibe. Rachel Weisz is an archaeologist, and they are pretty much looking for the treasure and of Imhotep and where he's buried and all the stuff that was left behind since centuries later. Of course, they opened up something that they weren't supposed to, and of course, Imhotep comes back to life, and he tries to go back to setting out to do what he originally was trying to do before he got executed, and him and his priests got executed. And little by little, Imhotep kills people that were a part of opening his casket and waking him up. He kills them little by little. That's how he starts getting his physical form back. And that's pretty much the gist. They're just trying to stop him before he takes over Egypt, and then he starts taking over the world kind of thing. I wouldn't say it was a poor man's Indiana Jones. It was just kind of like... But I think now when I think about it, I think that's the issue. It's just... I had already seen 3 Indiana Jones films, and I'm not saying these were copying that, but I guess that whole desert vibe, archaeology, adventure thing, I've already seen it to where I just wasn't... Yeah. I think that was my issue with it when I first saw it. I was just like... I almost felt like I'd already seen this before. As far as my rating for the film, I would give it I'll give it a 7 out of 10 yes sirs. Some people think it's really a great film. I just felt it was okay. And it was... I don't think there's anything you could have done with it to make me give it a higher rating. It's just... I mean... Maybe make the Mummy scary. Like, really scary. Terrifying, but he just... it was just... it was like, okay, it's fine. I would say if you've never seen the film, this one, not the Tom Cruise one, I'd say check it out. You might like it. I mean, it is entertaining, and it has strong characters and strong character development. It's just, it's not really my cup of tea. But then don't get me wrong. It's not a bad film. It's just a film that I'll watch from time to time occasionally, but it's not something where I'm going to be like, I would just recommend it over, Batman or Indiana Jones or Harry Potter or something. It's not one of the lowest tier films I can think of. And quite frankly, just so you know, I loved part 2. I felt part 2 was better than part 1. So it was okay. It just, I don't know, it just didn't grab me like most films would, but it's not a bad film. It's just not particularly my type of film that I, and I think really what it is too is archaeology films, these desert films. I'm not really too big on them. I just kind of, once I've seen one, I'm like, I don't really want to keep watching films where they're in the desert. No thanks. Yeah, I guess that would be it. So with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.